Hi, I'm Sherry Damaris and welcome to Macro Magic. And today I am just so happy to have Denny Waxman with me. Denny has been a longtime friend and also my teacher throughout the years. He's located in Philadelphia. He is the president and founder of the Strengthening Health Institute. So welcome, Denny.
Thank you, Sherry. Happy to be here.
And I'm just so excited because I feel that you are the heart of macrobiotics. Your teachings throughout the years have helped so many millions of people across the world, especially those who have studied the initial part of macrobiotics and really have been out of touch and then feel like they're sort of stuck in eating old traditional foods and not really feeling comfortable day to day. So you had the knack or the intuition to really teach people how to broaden the diet, keep it really clean, but broaden it, make it feel relaxing and opening, and have people feel comfortable day to day with very practical tips.
Right.
I always say that you're the king of practicality. So.
Oh, that was my intention. Good.
Yes. And your new book, The Ultimate Guide to Eating for Longevity, has been a really wonderful tool for me. Your wife, Susan, has so many great recipes in the back, which I almost memorize to use them day to day. But I think for people a little bit afraid of going into the kitchen, she makes it really simple, but yet really concrete as to how to create the dishes. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this show was because your counseling is one of the best in the world. And when people, I know I've been so lucky and my family's been so lucky to work with you with any sort of ailment. You continue to amaze me. It could be, before surgery, what should I do to prep for surgery? It could be for allergies. It could be for severe life-threatening diseases. And I know in the macrobiotic community, many of the other counselors will refer to you and ask you questions. So I'm just really honored to have you here. And I know that we wanted to talk a little bit about some ailments, just some quick things to sort of give out to the public so you viewers can understand how macrobiotics works. Because I know that we look at the energy of food and not necessarily the nutritional content as much as the energy of the disease and the energy of the food. So tell me a little bit about how you got started and then maybe some ideas you have with some of the current health ailments that people are suffering now.
Okay, so I'll try to make that brief. I heard the word from the older brother of a friend. It got my attention, and it took me probably 6 months to find a book about it, and then another year after that to actually meet a macrobiotic person in Martindale's health food store. And he told me he came to Philadelphia to change the consciousness level of the city. I said, well, how are you going to do that? He said, I'm going to start a macrobiotic restaurant. I said, great, do you want a partner? He said, yeah. So long story short, we found a place at 20th and Sansom, and it couldn't be changed. We couldn't get the zoning variance, so we changed it from a restaurant to a food store, Essene Macrobiotic Supply. That was February 10th, 1969. Later that month, Michio Kushi came to Philadelphia, invited by Rod and Peggy House. He spoke at the Unitarian Church, 175 people. This is in February 1969. The next day, there was a private lecture at Rod's house, and I was invited. And Michio made a statement. He said, first he was talking about world peace, he was talking about curing cancer, why we have this image, everything under the sun. And then he said, I don't want many friends, and it stopped me in my tracks. He followed that with, I only want a handful of friends who can really understand this way, and together we can change the world. I said, this is me. I'm going
Which
to be
is
your
what you're
friend.
doing right
Right.
now.
So that was really the beginning. Micho put this bait out. I took it. And a kind of funny story. We had our online spring conference. And this woman had contacted me. She's a philanthropic and nonprofit advisor. She was in the panel. And she said at the end, she said, you have a very nice family organization here. You can keep it that way. Do you want to keep it as a family organization, or do you want to change the world? So I said, well, Tracy, thank you. You know, thanks for waking me up. So she kind of started me on a trend. So I've started a new, it's not quite an organization, but a new group, Change the World through SHI. So this is my new project now.
So SHI is Strengthening Health Institute,
Yes.
which you've been running trips through. You've had online courses, online lectures, done your counseling one-to-one on Zoom
Right.
and in person before the pandemic. So tell us, where do you think macrobiotics is moving at this point? Like, what do you see the future for macrobiotics, and why do you think it's so important that people wake up and listen to the messages that we are, putting through with the show and with your programs on macrobiotics?
It's important for a lot of reasons. So it's gone through a lot of iterations, and Strengthening Health Institute is basically about opening it up and aligning with the vegetarian, the vegan movements, all things that are going. But the reason it's important now, vegetarianism and veganism, they're taking off. They're becoming mainstream, but they're not necessarily healthy. I mean, Coca-Cola is vegan. Plus, people are conscious about the relationship of diet and health. They're conscious about the environment, the planet, animal welfare. So we have basically a consciousness shift happening worldwide. And macrobiotics is not a diet, it's a lifestyle based on a philosophy, a set of principles. And those principles can guide health and well-being in almost every area of life. So as you said, macrobiotics is not really about health. Health is the result. Macrobiotics is really about how to live a healthy, happy, peaceful life. And so basically, I see macrobiotics as kind of like a hub, a unifier, to bring together all these various movements, a way of focusing everyone in the same direction.
And I remember you saying in one of your lectures, which your lectures are always blowing me away, that learning these tools will help you and your family throughout their life with health, but also broaden your whole capability of fulfilling your dream and doing what you love in life. And it's such a great tool to understand that, but also for the environment at this point.
Right. Yeah, what's unique about macrobiotics is that what we do for ourselves, we also do for others and the environment. So by our choices of foods, by the quality of foods, by trying to source local and indigenous foods, everything about diet and lifestyle supports everything that people are talking about now.
So we talked earlier before the cameras came on about you just sharing some little tidbits of information about various diseases, because oftentimes, for instance, when people have allergies, they go straight to the medicine cabinet.
Right.
So I am always impressed with your work on how people can get over these ailments without using medicine and starting to look at their diet. So, for instance, allergies, what would your recommendations be?
Well, the main cause of all allergies is the combination of dairy food or fried foods together with fructose. So allergies became rampant, epidemic in the mid-'80s when high fructose corn syrup was introduced. Now in the natural food movement, we have agave nectar, which is incredibly high in, again, high fructose corn syrup, high fructose. So fructose outside of fruit, together with dairy foods or fried foods, oily, fatty foods, confuses the immune system and is really the basis of all allergies. Then it depends on the type of allergy. Different types of animal foods, different types of sweets, etc., pastries. So allergies are just the body's trying to compensate for a chronically bad diet. That's really what allergies are. And that's why they're so widespread.
And how about headaches? Many people just have minor headaches and they'll take an aspirin or a pill to get rid of headaches.
Well, again, in Oriental medicine for thousands of years, they said, well, we have two brains. We have this brain, but then we have this brain, our gut, which this brain actually controls this brain. And now science finally has caught up and realized, okay, the microbiome is the basis of our health, our immunity, our moods, our thinking, pretty much everything. So everything comes from here. Basically, a headache means some type of digestive problem. And then depending on the type, it depends, what type of digestive issue.
So it could be like in the back or in the front or the sides.
Right.
And then you would give a certain remedy. And I know that you've had a lot of success with infertility issues. A lot of patients have come to you for cancer, heart disease. I can't name all the ailments, but I feel that you're almost like a wizard in terms of, simple remedies. It's always a simple food adjustment, and it's a simple, easy to do, take home and use these certain ingredients. I remember one of the other macrobiotic counselors saying, our diet, the macrobiotic way of eating is not that hard. You just narrow it down to the ingredients that you're recommended. You don't have to weigh them and look at the nutritional content of them. You just have to use them day to day.
Right.
And avoid the stuff that, is really giving you the problems. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to see an infomercial about you and what you're doing at SHI. And then when we come back, we're going to talk to you more about your work.
Thank you. Sounds great.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
Hi, this is Denny Waxman. I'm a macrobiotic counselor, author, and teacher. Week to week, I help people feel better naturally. I guide people back to health for a whole range of problems, everything from infertility to serious cancer. I'm also the founder and president of the Strengthening Health Institute, and we have some great programs coming up. July 17th and 18th, we have our online summer conference, and we have some amazing teachers and classes there. We have Colin Campbell talking about the history of protein and also about the coronavirus and how a plant-based diet helps with that. Also, Dr. Neil Bernard will be speaking about hormones. In addition to that, we have Christina Perello, many of you already know her, and also Sherry Damaris will be teaching a cooking class as well. In October, from the 6th to the 10th, we're going to have our first online, on-site seminar in nearly 2 years in Haverford, PA. And the theme for that is going to be the power of foods. It was our most popular seminar in the past, and we're finally reintroducing it again. At SHI Online, we also have programs for beginners as well as for career training. We found that more and more people are interested in actually becoming macrobiotic counselors themselves. And in addition to that, we have weekly webinars for all different topics. Finally, I'd like to introduce you to our book, The Ultimate Guide to Eating for Longevity. I wrote it together with my wife, Susan, and it's really become the go-to book for health. It's basically leading people back to healthy eating, healthy living, and the most delicious, healthy cooking. It's really the way to the future of health. So I hope to see you at one of our programs soon and hope you to feel better naturally. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Sherry Damaris, and I'm with Denny Waxman from the Philadelphia area, and we're talking about macrobiotics and his journey through macrobiotics, and also his book, The Ultimate Guide to Eating for Longevity. And we've also saw an infomercial on his upcoming programs. You're just such a font of knowledge. I can't get enough out of you in one show. But we're going to talk about some healthy lifestyle choices, because oftentimes in counseling, when I scribe for you, you'll recommend like sitting down to eat at normal, meal times, chewing your food well. Do you want to go over some of those? And we'll talk about the body rub, which is one of the most important ones.
Sure. So in our approach to macrobiotics, how you eat is just as important as what you eat. So I put a lot of emphasis on eating habits. Mm-hmm. And out of all eating habits, the single most important one is sitting down to eat without doing other things, except quiet conversation. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting, whatever you do when you eat, you absorb. Mm-hmm. So what that means, if you eat with someone else and you talk, you connect more deeply with that person.
Oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm.
But if you work, then you're absorbing the stress of your work, right?
Or if you're on your cell phone.
If you're on your cell phone, if you're watching the news, if you're reading the newspaper, that's what you're absorbing. And eating, a lot of people when they're on their own, they don't want to sit and eat without doing other things. But it's actually an incredible mindfulness practice. It's very meditative. Very
And also
peaceful.
you can taste your food and know when you're full, not
Right.
overeat.
That's right. It connects you with your food. So you develop a different relationship with your food than you had before.
And also we talked about blood sugar, eating at regular times, which a lot of people don't do anymore.
So we have our set meal times. Breakfast is 5 a.m. to 8:30, lunch 11 to 1, dinner 5 to 7. So I just read the other day, they did this research. If you start breakfast before 8:30 a.m., it lessens your chance for diabetes. No,
I believe it.
It increases insulin sensitivity and lowers blood sugar. So doing one thing, starting your day off, eating your breakfast at the right time, regulates your blood sugar.
I know that for a fact because when I skip breakfast, I get super tired in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And definitely your blood sugar gets affected.
Right.
And the other is chewing well, of course. Right?
Chewing well is important, but even more than that, it's actually eating slowly, slowing down the pace. Because the pace at which we eat regulates our health and metabolism.
I love that.
Yeah.
So many people are so type A, running around crazy and stuff.
Right.
So slow down.
And the other one that's really important is stop eating 2-3 hours before bed. Go to bed on an empty stomach.
So by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, probably.
Well, if you have your breakfast, start your breakfast before 8:30, and then healthy food eating should end before 8 p.m. So then you're within that 12-hour window for healthy eating.
Because you're actually fasting at night and you're giving your liver a break, and when you wake up in the morning and eat breakfast, that's breaking your fast.
Right. And then if you want to go a step further, if you skip breakfast once or twice a week, then you're going from 12, you're going to 16 hours without food. so-called intermittent fasting, which is
Fasting.
also very beneficial.
Right, and which, by the way, has become really popular, but I've
Right.
heard, definitely take some juices and some soups and soft cereals. I mean, if you go cold turkey fasting for too long a time, you do get really low blood sugar and
Right.
tight.
Well, you can drink liquid in the morning. There's no problem with that. It's actual food.
So you wanted to show us one of the most important lifestyle
All right.
daily recommendations, the body rub.
Right. So it's a health practice I call the body rub. And basically what you do, you have your sink or a basin, you fill it with hot water. Then you take a cotton washcloth, fold it in half twice, it's a square pad like this. You dip it in and you wring it out and you rub back and forth gently. The first thing, it's gentle. Number two, think of the tide, the waves, gently rolling in or gently rolling out. And then you can think of, a friend referred to it as skin polishing. I really like that. So I'm there, my wrist, my palms, and I'm in between every finger, getting in there and going over my hands. So literally I do that, and then my arms. Your feet, your hands and feet are the most important part. So with your feet, it's the same thing. You're going in between your toes, the tops of your toes, tops of your feet, side of ankles, outside, toes to heels. You do your face and neck, armpits and groin. It takes about 15 minutes. And what it does is it deeply cleans your skin and opens your skin so it can breathe naturally. Your skin is literally a third kidney. It's a major excretory organ. It does the same as your kidneys to clean your body. So when you do the body rubs, you're activating your kidney function, helping your body clean and renew itself. It's literally the secret of the fountain of youth. It winds back your biological clock. Literally, it makes your body and mind younger. Sure, my longtime experience is people who sit down to eat without doing other things and do the body rub both always have better health than others. And my reason is this: if you eat without doing other things, you connect with your food. But if you do the body rub, you connect with your body. You become more self-aware. So it's like the beginning and end of the process. Such a simple practice.
And I love it because you recommend it like when you're on an airplane, do the body rub when you get off the airplane, or when
Yeah.
you can't sleep, you can do the body rub. And it's actually stimulating all your meridians, like you mentioned, the hands and the feet. Those are your meridian points, the starting and
Right.
ending of your points. And
Right.
that's why the circulation.
So in Oriental medicine, the periphery affects the center. So when you do the hands and the feet, you're actually activating the circulation in the deepest parts of your body. So,
And circulation helps oxygenate the blood, which helps the organs rejuvenate.
exactly.
And I just find it amazing every time that there's always a simple solution to all the diseases.
Right.
So tell us what programs are coming up that people can look forward to through SHI. I know you're having a week-long in-residence program returning
Right.
in October.
So before that, so July 17th and 18th, we have our summer conference. And we have a great group of teachers I'm really excited about. We have Colin Campbell, who will be talking about the myth of protein, the history of protein, and also about the coronavirus and viruses in general. Neil Bernard, Dr. Neil Bernard, will be talking about hormones. We also have Christina Perello, who many of you know, and we also have Sherry Damaris as
Yes,
well.
what we call-
We have an all-star lineup. I'm very excited about it. And in October, the 6th to the 10th, we're doing our first on-site in 2 years, because we had to cancel everything over, the last year, at the St. Raffaella Center in Haverford. So we rented the whole mansion there. And the theme of that is going to be the power of foods. For years, it was our most popular, most important seminar. And for some reason, we just stopped doing it when we gave up our space 5, 6 years ago. So now we're bringing that theme back. And it's really going to be a wonderful program.
And the center is, I help, help with the food prep there. The center is beautiful. It's like on this Catholic sort of
right,
sanctuary land, and very safe and very comforting, and really nice to sit outside and have the meals and things like that. So I think it'll be pretty safe COVID-wise for people to attend.
Oh yeah, it's an ideal environment. It couldn't be better.
And it's really important now, that we're all doing these Zoom things, to connect with people personally, hear your lectures, but also eat the food.
Well, nothing helps our immune system like human contact, interaction, and getting back to shaking hands, hugging, being close to each other. It's just, it does wonders for immunity.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to that again.
Yes, absolutely. And especially with macrobiotics, because we're working so much with the environment and food and healing.
Yeah.
I think that's important. How can people reach you? People from all over the world use you as a regular counselor, but how can people sign up and reach you if they're interested in just having a first consultation with you on Zoom?
Well, the best way is just dennywaxman.com, and there's a contact form on there. And people always think I'm saying D-A, but my name is D-E as in Edward, D-E-N-N-Y-W-A-X-M-A-N. So dennywaxman.com is probably the best way.
And then if they want to read about the SHI program, that's on the website, right?
That's on shimacrobiotics.org. So shimacrobiotics.org.
And that's going to list all your programs that you mentioned, as well as your book, or is your book on Amazon?
Our book is on both.
Okay.
And I wrote this book for a very specific reason. It's really a condensation of my life's experience with health and macrobiotics. And I wrote it because we've gotten so far away from health. So with the intention that this would be the book of our times that would guide people back to health. Healthy eating, healthy living, and as you already brought up, the most delicious healthy cooking. And just to waken people up that health is delicious, it's enjoyable, and it's in our reach, everybody's.
Yeah, it's simple. It's more simple than you think.
That's right.
Well, I hope to have you back on the show, Denny. You're just a
For
plethora
sure.
of information, but I think you've guided so many thousands of people from around the world, and I wanted to thank you for that, and thank you for staying on the path and being so diligent with your work in macrobiotics. And I hope our viewers really reach out and participate in some of these programs coming up. It's really important now that we're hitting a health crisis on the planet, and environmentally as well as in our bodies physically. And I think that all of your information is just so helpful for everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate it.
Great. And I hope you viewers enjoyed the show. Please join us for another episode of Macro Magic.